Yes, people, it's Packetson, and welcome back to the fucking show, son. If you're interested in some criminal damage merch, you get 25% off using the Packetson 25 code. Go fucking copy yourself some fucking garments, cousin. Alright! Now, enough of the pleasantries. Get your fucking nans out, alright? Today, we're doing a fucking Kid Nerd documentary. One of my favourite types of videos to do. Okay, we've got the deadly war that started UK drill. We've got 6-7 versus 150. Rest in peace to the geezer from 6-7 that died yesterday or the day before. It's fucking wild out there, cousin. Yeah? I've done a lot of the early stuff from 150 and 6-7. Jesus, what's going on here, cousin? You wanna get your nans out, do you, boy? Come on. Right, so I don't usually put enough respect on Kid Nerd's name. Okay? Shout out Kid Nerd. All the fucking time and effort he puts into these videos. Mad love, crazy guy, fair play to him, shout out my man. We appreciate you and we thank you for these videos because it allows us to watch them, enjoy them, react to them and share them with our followers, so respect, brother.
UK drill has come a long way since its roots, from its underground and heavily Chicago influenced start to a now more commercial and cleaned up genre. If we was to tell people back in 2012 that 10 years later that drill artists would be getting hundreds of millions of views and be getting nominated for Brit Awards, they'd think you're crazy, but it's happened. Let's look into how the genre even started in the first place and how a deadly feud in South London got us all the way here. Let's get into it.
Thank fuck for gang crime, right? Otherwise we would be listening to this fucking solid music. Shout out to the lads. It's savage though, isn't it? Like, we're reliant on this continuous crime to provide us the most raw, authentic music. It's pretty fucking, when you really dig deep, mate, it's fucked, mate, you know? Like, stop the crime, but what about the music? You know what I mean? What about the fucking tunes, bruv? Let's go do a couple stabbings and drop a couple tunes, you know what I mean? I'm joking, obviously. Don't fucking stab anyone, you can't.
Before I get into this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Emma Sleep Beds for sending me out one of their divan bed and mattresses. So I've been seeing these beds all over the internet recently.
Get
so
your
when
sponsors
they hit me
in,
up to
cousin.
send over my own, I was very excited to try it out. And when it came, surprisingly it was very easy to assemble, even in a tight space. And thank God it came with an instruction manual to set up, because
thank Jesus, everyone.
If it didn't, it would have been a long day. It only took me around 20 minutes to set up and get it ready. It's the first memory foam mattress I've ever had, and now I couldn't even see myself sleeping on anything else apart from memory foam after this. It's just so comfortable. The bed even comes with drawers, which was even a blessing.
Imagine having a sponsor on your video. Fucking have a day off, son.
In disguise, because my room gets too messy and clogged up. But seriously though, shout out Emma Sleeps. Surprisingly, the bed all came within the space of a week of ordering it. One thing I can say, it's quite difficult adjusting
oh, you're taking a piss now, son.
To a new mattress when you've been sleeping on the same one for years. But luckily I managed to adjust to this one quite quickly. And they really have a bed on there for whatever circumstance and budget you have. Luckily, if you do want to grab one of these, I do have a discount code. You can use my discount code Kid Nerds for 50% off. You can even use an additional discount code on top straight on the Emma Sleep website, or click the link in my description to get your Emma Sleep products. Let's get into the video. So the drill sound.
Oh, is that alright if we hop into that? Is that alright? Yeah. Respect, cousin. Shout out Kid Nerd, my man.
So the drill sound as a whole originally started in Southside Chicago with some early artists to create the sound, being big Chicago rapper Chief Keef and the now deceased Little Jojo in the early 2010s, which is a whole different story for another video. But it didn't take too long for London to start adopting the sound, with one of...
Fun fact before we get into the video, I used to listen to Chief Keef back in the day without realising that it was drill, if that makes sense. Bitches love salsa, oh, when they know it. Da -da -da -da. Fucking used to bang that tune all the time. You know, when he's on his table in his house with his, on tag with his lads, like, bitches love salsa, oh, and I fucking love that tune. Anyway, it's just funny, innit? I used to listen to drill before knowing I listened to drill. So technically I listened to US drill before. It's just crazy, bruv. Cousin. Fuck me, I'm old. Let's go.
One of the first UK drill songs to come out in 2013 when a couple guys from a Brixton gang called 150 dropping a song called It's Crackin', which was a heavy diss track to another opposition gang called 6-7 who are from an area called Brixton Hill.
It's actually a banger.
Even came back with their own diss drill song using the same beat as the song It's Crackin', and named it It's Fryin'. But it wasn't always like this. Just a few years before this, 6-7 and 150's area used to be cool. These times, 6-7's area, Brixton Hill, used to be called BHB, which was an abbreviation for the Brixton Hill Bullies, and 150's area, which is situated in the Brixton estate called Angeltown, used to be called Gas Gang, with both Brixton Hill and Brixton only being separated by one road. There are even some early tunes with both 6-7 and 150 members on the same track. But in the early 2010s, this all changed, and parts of Brixton started separating. Stuff started getting patchy in the area in 2010. Around these times, Gas Gang, who are now called 150, were having back and forths with another gang located around 7 minutes away in an area called the Lower Toes Hill, and the gang in that area was called TN1. But on July the 2nd, 2010, this back and forth took a turn for the worse. An affiliate of the TN1 gang, a 15-year-old kid who went by the name Little Zach, was making his way towards his pupil referral unit, which is pretty much a school for kids who have been kicked out of their mainstream school, normally for bad behaviour. Unfortunately, on some bad timing, 5 members of Gas Gang were also making their way towards his school. Before Little Zach could even get to his school gates, the Gas Gang members jumped out on him, and with Little Zach probably being so terrified and not thinking straight, instead of running into his school, he tried to make a break for it on the road. He managed to get around 100 meters away, but was eventually cornered in the back garden and was repeatedly stabbed to death. This death was especially sad due to Little Zach, just a day before his murder, gave a speech at a London conference about how he wanted to leave the gang life behind him and move on. Little Zach also suffered from sickle cell, leading him to be very small for his age. 5 teenagers were sentenced for this murder, one being a big Gas Gang rapper on the scene called JJ. He was actually identified literally by his nose poking out of his hoodie on the CCTV. The murder of Little Zach made politics weird in the area, including people from Brixton Hill who are civil with both TN1 and Gas Gang. This situation, alongside a few more situations, caused a massive divide between Brixton Hill and Brixton. Around the same time, the Chicago drill scene started popping off, with the whole of London being tuned in to big Chicago rapper Chief Keef, which started slowly influencing the UK rap game. In 2012, both 6-7 and 150 started to become more active in the rap scene, with 6-7 having a couple rappers like Scribs and Dimsy, and 150 having a few rappers as well like Sticks and M-Dog, rapping on old school UK rap beats. But around 2012, you could already start to see some early influence, which started showing when 150 rapper Sticks dropped a song called Psycho in 2012. He starts to
that I haven't listened to.
Song off by saying Sosa Baby, which is the same way how Chicago rapper Chief Keef would start off his song. The following year in 2013, this developed into 6-7, making probably the first drill diss track, with 6-7 members Scribs and Monkey making the diss track towards 150 called Really in the Field.
Okay, I haven't heard that or heard of that, I don't think.
A month later, 150 rappers Sticks and M-Dog came back at 6-7 with the drill diss track that I mentioned previous called It's Crackin'. In 2014, more...
It's actually crazy. The actual birth of UK drill. Imagine being the fucking fathers of UK drill. Birthing that cunt. You know what I mean? It's wild, mate. That's a fucking legacy and a half. Now that's something to brag about. It's like, yeah, you like UK drill. What, like Central C and that? So you say to someone now, you heard of drill? What, like Central C and RD? Yeah, mate. Nah. I fucking invented that shit, you can't.
More and more back and forth tracks between the two gangs continue, and in the same year, other gangs in South London start to jump on drill beats as well, including 6-7 jumping on the same beat as the diss track 150 aimed at them called It's Crackin', turning this into
bangers.
The first UK drill beef. But this was also making the streets hot at the time, and less than a couple weeks after 6-7 dropped their diss track called It's Fryin', it was clear that this feud was just more than music. On February the 25th, 5th, 2014, a 6-7 member took a trip to Angeltown Estate, which is territory of the 150 gang, until he saw a member of 150 and started trying to run him down. A 150 rapper who went by the name SQ just happened to be driving past at the time and spotted the altercation and tried to hop out of his car and help his friend out. When SQ approached the 6-7 member, he was stabbed multiple times, with a stab wound hitting his heart, leaving him in critical condition and sadly later dying from his injuries. Around the same time, 6-7 started gaining more notoriety in the music scene, mainly due to a rapper from the gang called Scribs. But at the time, Scribs was on a couple cases, which in 2014 eventually ended up with him being banned from making music. But this didn't stop him.
Oh, okay. See, this is what I wanted to understand, because there's the different names, the different aliases, Mask. This is where the mask came in, I guess.
2014 eventually ended up with him being banned from making music, but this didn't stop him, with Scribs changing his name to LD and dropping the biggest UK drill tune to come out at the time, called
What a banger as well.
Live Coon. This done numbers, and people in the UK that never heard of drill certainly heard of it after this song, and this really put 6-7 on the map. After this, the group were getting millions of views on pretty much anything they put out there, while 150 was starting to struggle for views. But while 6-7 was starting to pick up momentum on their tracks, the streets were also starting to heat up. In 2015, a 6-7 rapper called SJ ordered a minicab from Kennerton in South London to an area called Herne Hill, also in South London. But halfway through his journey, his cab was spun by police, and once him and the cab were searched, he was found in possession of a revolver and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Unfortunately, this was deep into when 6-7 started seeing success, but this didn't really stop the gang success, and 6-7 really turned drill from an underground sound to a genre which will be listened to all over the country, which was definitely clear when 6-7 was nominated for Best Newcomer in the 2016 Mobile Awards, which was a big statement for the genre. But while 6-7 was starting to receive musical success,
It's that little geezer on the mic.
150 was starting to fall under the radar until a 150.
Oh yeah, of course. Fucking M24. Holding it down for the fucking 150 boys. Crazy, mate. This actually mad, this story, if you think about it.
Musical success. 150 was starting to fall under the radar until a 150 rapper called M24 started to jump on the scene. Jumping on.
Crazy, mate. They start slipping, and then my man M24 comes in to save the day with his absolutely cruddy, nutty flows, mate.
24 started to jump on the scene, jumping on a feature with rappers from another gang in Brixton called Skengdo and AM, which done numbers. And he really started putting on for his gang, especially in 2019, featuring other members of his 150 gang on his songs, getting tens of millions of views. But while 150 was starting to rise up in the scene, 2019 proved to be a deadly year for this war. On March the 19th, a 6-7 rapper called Leaks was driving through Clapham in South.
Is that the short guy that was just on the mic? Right? Was that Leaks?
March the 19th, a 6-7 rapper called Leaks was driving through Clapham in South London with his brother. Now, Clapham is territory of a gang called CT, who are closely aligned with 150 and also beef 6-7. Leaks' brother...
Mate, it gets so fucking technical, doesn't it?
Who was driving at the time turned into...
We should fucking teach this shit in school, mate. Fucking history lesson.
...to a street called Clapham Park Road when they drove into traffic. Two members of the CT gang spotted Leaks in the passenger seat.
How fucking on point do you have to be able to just spot a cunt in a car? Just casually. Like, oh, fuck me. That's our rival gang member. Let's get the cunt, right? You've got to be fucking on it, mate.
Packed with a knife, the other with a walking crutch, and started to pursue the car and tried to spin his whip to avoid the traffic and get away. But unfortunately, while doing this...
Why is he using a crutch? Oh shit.
He crashed into a traffic light.
Oh mate, what are you doing?
One member of CT then lunged into the driver's seat while the window was open and stabbed Leaks' brother 3 times, while the other member started whacking him with the walking stick. The 6-7...
Okay. So his brother, was his brother or his cousin, gets stabbed 3 times. Fucking window ching, right? I mean, I love a window ching. Like, ironically, I don't actually want people to die from a window ching. I mean, if I had to go, if I died, You know, I want to die from a fucking window ching, mate. Like, that's a way to go. Like a fucking hero, mate, you know? But the audacity to stab a cunt 3 times through a window when he's fucking defenceless. And then just take the absolute fucking biscuit and then hit him with a crutch afterwards, mate. You're fucking going straight to hell, you can't. The geezer with a crutch, mate. What's wrong with you?
Rapper Leaks actually managed to pull a walking stick from the back seat and tried to protect his brother, but in less than 10 seconds of confrontation, it was too late, and Leaks' brother sadly died from his injuries.
Sad, really is sad.
This thing about his death, Leaks' brother, who was a father at the time, wasn't even involved in the gang life.
A civilian, right? He's just a civilian, spending time with his brother who happens to be a gang member. So because my man decided to become a gang member, chose the gang life, he had to pay the repercussions. And the repercussions he paid wasn't even his life. It was his fucking brother's life, right? That's gonna sit with you forever, man, yeah? Right? That's deep. We're getting deep. Getting deep with Packetson, cousin. Imagine, like, he's probably thinking, I'd rather you had taken me, right, than my brother, because my man didn't deserve it, right? If anyone deserves it, it's the gang member, right?
His brother, who was a father at the time, wasn't even involved in the gang.
A father as well, man. It's deep, bro.
Life. A couple months after this, an 18-year-old affiliate of CT called Stomps was also killed, and the 6-7 member called Giant was convicted for the murder and sentenced to life. Around this time, 6-7 started falling off quite a bit on music, especially after 2 of their main rappers, called ASAP and LD, were locked up for a county line operation, which was shipping crack and heroin from South London to more than an hour away in Basingstoke. More 6-7 members were also booked in 2019, running different county line operations around the country, and another 6-7 rapper called ST just got sentenced to 8 years for possession of a revolver. It was starting to seem like 6-7's time of being the king of drill music was now over, at a time when 150 rappers like M24 and Stick were starting to make moves in the music scene. But while 6-7 was starting to become more quieter in the scene, affiliates of 6-7 from a nearby estate called RuPaul Park were starting to make some noise on the scene, with 2 rappers from the estate called VD and Dopey dropping a very rude song directed towards mainly 150.
Of course. Fucking Dope Smoke. Absolute goat in the scene. I forget about these lads being part of 6-7, because you always think they count as youngers, no? Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But compared to like LD and that. Yeah, that's crazy, mate. Local Shops, what a fucking classic tune.
Very rude song directed towards mainly 150 and CT called Local Shops. This song came with a lot of disses towards someone called S1. S1 was an 18-year-old CT member whose life was sadly ended.
S1. That's only familiar to me because I just reacted to PR spot him and drop him. That was fucking disturbing, mate, that was.
In August 2019, S1 alongside one of his female friends were walking through Brixton when they were approached by a RuPaul Park member who went by the name TY. S1 and TY were seen conversing on the street, which ended with the pair going their separate ways. Around 30 minutes after the first altercation, S1 and his female friend were starting to make their way towards a nearby house and happened to walk past TY again. But this time, TY started to follow S1 and eventually approached him. This altercation was much more violent than the first, which ended in a fight with S1 being left with multiple stab wounds and sadly dying from his wounds. But after the success of their first song, VD and Dopey were starting to hit the booth more throughout 2019, and with RuPaul Park becoming more of a smaller bat, they were gonna start carrying the 6-7 name on their songs. But in September 2019, their music career was left on pause after VD and Dopey got into a situation outside the KFC in West London, which ended with VD stabbing a 17-year-old to death. VD and
fucking hell, man.
And Dopey were both sentenced for this murder, but Dopey...
This is the case that Dopey beat. Yeah.
stabbing the 17-year-old to death. VD and Dopey were both sentenced for this murder, but Dopey ended up beating the case. VD wasn't that lucky though, and he was convicted for the murder.
Well, probably because he actually did the fucking stabbings, mate. You know what I mean? That's probably why.
Was convicted for the murder. But at this time, drill has started to become more commercialized, and even though some other 6-7 members were starting to release tracks, they weren't really popping off as much.
Like PR Sad, right? When does he come into this? I want to know his, because he was a different era to LD in that, right? Musically anyway. Was he before Dope Smoke? I don't.
As they used to. While the top drill artists like Tion Wayne and Russ Millions were dropping more catchy and rhythm-based drill songs, 6-7 were still dropping more lyrically based and violent songs, which wasn't really with the times in 2020. But this is where 150 rapper M24 really started to pop off, even jumping on a hit song with Tion Wayne called London. A new rapper from 6-7 called PR started making some noise on the scene though, but again his songs were more lyrically based and were also really violent, which ended with police taking down a lot of his tracks due to the feds saying that his songs were inciting violence, especially due to the spout of violence that was going on in Brixton at the time.
PR Sad is so fucking sick though. His music is just on another level, mate.
But when we compare year by year crime statistics,
like he just elevates 6-7 on another level, right? Like his shit is just fucking unique.
Brixton crime has actually went down quite significantly, with it mainly due to the rundown estates in Brixton, like 150's block called Angeltown, being knocked down and rebuilt with nice modern apartments, making the area look almost unrecognisable from its former state. But unfortunately, the estate still has a big issue with gang violence, with it still being the area where 150 members reside and chill, which also means it's a hotspot for enemies who are looking for 150 members to go to, which was clear on August 20th, 2020 around 6 PM. On this day, 150's rapper called Stick was celebrating his birthday on the...
Hold on. Is Stick's dead? Did I know that Stick's dead? Hold on. Let's put it up.
Looking for 150 members to go to, which was clear on August 20th, 2020 around 6 PM. On this day, 150's rapper called Stick was celebrating his birthday on the Angeltown estate. So a rapper called 16 Shots, who's from an affiliate gang of 6-7, took a trip to the Angeltown estate that day. When he arrived, he managed to find the 150 rapper Sticks and stabbed him in his face. But when
In his fucking face.
16 Shots tried to make an escape from the estate, multiple 150 members were catching wind to what just happened and started to chase him out the estate. But once the gang caught up to him, the rapper 16 Shots was stabbed repeatedly, leaving him...
No, that's fucking mental, mate. Like, think about it. Like generally when someone actually goes looking for someone and they find them, you know, it's pretty fucked up. But you got to think, this man went to their ends. He found a cunt, right? It's like, shit, I gotta shoot my shot, right? Quickly, fucking to the face, right? Quick one to the face, right? He did the quick one to the face, and he thought, fuck, oh, smashed it, mate. I'm gonna go home and tell the lads, can't fucking wait. But then, before you know it, the geezer that got stabbed in the face, his mates have just seen you do what you do, and they fucking chase you, mate. Okay, and they're raging because you just stabbed their face in the mate. You just stabbed their face. Oh my god. You just stabbed their mate in the face, and they actually catch you just after you stabbed their mate. I can imagine that they didn't hold back. You've got to try and empathise them and their aggression, the adrenaline. It's just going to be a straight up juke fest. That's what I'm imagining, and it ain't fucking pleasant, mate. I ain't feeling it, you know what I mean? I ain't happy about it. That is fucking mental, mate. And why is that car upside down? How does that happen?
But once the gang caught up to him, the rapper's 16 Shots was stabbed repeatedly, leaving him with a total of 33 stab wounds all over his body.
What did I just say? Stab fest, juke fest, bloodbath, mate. Like, you can sort of imagine it. Yeah, imagine you just try and empathise for a second. You just saw some geezer stab someone you love. You managed to catch up with the guy. relentless. Relentless, right? Mental. Mental.
In front of herds of shocked onlookers. Not too long after, paramedics
Broad day as well.
and police arrived at the scene after multiple calls about the incident. When the ambulance arrived, they tried to treat the wounds, but because there were so many, paramedics had to strip him naked in front of the residents of the estate, with 16 shots constantly begging for a blanket to cover him up. But the medical
That actually hit me hard. Just imagine, like, empathizing there. My man's just been stabbed 30 times in the middle of the broad day in the street. They've had to strip him naked. Think about what his concern is right now. If you put a blanket on me now, like, you're basically, he's still concerned about being mugged off on the streets whilst holding 30 fucking wounds. That's horrible, man. It really is. Like, it's horrible. That's fucked, mate. It really is.
Medical workers soon realised that the injuries were much worse than they thought, so they had to airlift him to a nearby hospital, where he sadly died later on. Sticks, along with a few more 150 members, were originally arrested for the murder, with some being released under investigation.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm with you there, yeah.
And some being released with no further action. But at the end of last year, after the feds had investigated the murder, another 150 rapper called M-Dog, alongside a few more members, got charged for the murder and are currently awaiting trial. M-Dog was actually quite a big pioneer for UK drill music, with him jumping on one of the first ever UK drill songs, which is sad to see him go out like that. And with another triple shooting on the Angel Town estate last year on September the 12th, leaving an affiliate of 150 called Chino dying, shows this beef has no signs of ending soon, despite both groups seeing musical success. Nowadays, UK drill is in a completely different place to how it was in 2013, with new age drill artists being judged more on their musical ability rather than what they've done on the streets. But it's impossible to have a conversation of the pioneers of UK drill music without talking about 6-7 and 150's launch of the genre. It's been your boy Kid Nerd, and peace out.
Awesome. Really fucking good. Shout out Kid Nerd on that. Really fucking good. The whole documentary was great. The build up, the information. I had loads of shit I didn't know. Sometimes I watch these and I know most things. But the ending as well, about that 16 shots guy stabbing Sticks and then them get back on the at that time, broad day, like on a. That one was fucking hard to listen to, man. It just shows you though, the gang life ain't fucking worth it, mate. It ain't fucking worth it, mate. Look what happened to all these bastards, man. Shout out everyone for watching. Shout out everyone for being here and attending, subscribing. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm active on both. Shout out Kid Nerd. Shout out everyone. That was good, man. It was just a bit deep near the end, you know what I mean? But I enjoyed it. I'm going to go now, guys. It's been a real pleasure, and I'll see you fucking Packeters next time.